How are you feeling, Tony?
Not too bad, thank you.
Okay, we shall be on air in the next few moments. Good evening and welcome to Hard Talk. I wish to introduce Tony, who is a straight-talking harsh realist and is not afraid to say it as it is. I also wish to welcome Hector and Bill, who are political strategists for their respective parties. Tony will be translating what they say. Okay, Bill, can you tell us of your assessment of the current economic position?
We have never had it so good.
There you go, a classic case of not finishing off the sentence. What he meant to say was that, we have never had it, so goodness sake, what are we going to do?
Hector, what is your current assessment?
I am not quite as optimistic as Bill, however we are facing challenging times.
Simply translated, that means, we are in the
Growth has returned to the U.S.
Okay, here is the translation. He means, the illusion of growth has returned to the U.S.
We have some headwinds and have hit a turbulent patch.
Okay, if you want to stay with the weather analogy, here is what he really means. The headwinds and turbulence are due to a deep depression coming.
The President of the U.S. has saved us from a global depression by raising the debt ceiling last August.
True, but the accurate translation is this. The President has delayed an even greater depression by increasing the debt ceiling.
We are all in it together.
I can simply quote from Animal Farm, in that, we are all equal, except some are more equal than others.
There are green shoots appearing.
This one is easy. They are not green shoots, they are weeds.
Thank you, Tony. I understand that you want to show us a video clip.
Yes, it is a simple illustration of what is happening today in the Western economies.
What can I do for you today?
I would like to raise my debt limit.
Excuse me?
My debt limit, I'd like to raise it.
Because the last time I checked, Mr. Smith, you were in serious debt.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Figure we should raise that limit.
Yeah, it says here you're $140,270 in debt.
Right, so I figured we should raise that limit to about $170,000. I just bought a 60-inch flat screen. Have you ever been to Australia?
No.
Leaving tomorrow, mate. You should check it out. Great parasailing.
Do you have some new income that I don't know about?
No, still making about 21 grand a year.
Okay. And are you still spending $38,000 a year?
That's what it says.
So you're adding $17,000 a year in debt.
Oh, is that what it comes out to? Debt limit going up. Ding!
Have you made any cuts in your expenses?
Oh, of course, yes. My wife and I cut $380 out of our annual budget. It's $380. Brutal.
Huh. Okay, so you're adding, okay, so you're adding $17,000 a year to your $140,000 in debt, and you cut $380.
Well, you say it like that, it makes it not sound like a lot.
Hey, maybe you should think about generating some new income. Maybe a new job, maybe ask for that raise.
Oh, asking for that raise, I'm not comfortable. That's an awkward conversation. I've always been able to raise my debt limit.
Yeah, well, this is a little different.
Well, how?
we're in the middle of a recession, and your credit rating will plummet if you continue to go along this path.
I almost had it.
You don't see how bad this is, do you?
I cut my budget by $380. Are you kidding?
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. We can't help you.
Even still living like
I'm very sorry.
My wife is going to lose it.
Been there.
I mean, $380 was bad enough. I mean, this is going to end our marriage. We stopped talking to each other for a month. The baby was totally freaked out.
Wait. You have kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sign there.
All right. Aren't kids a blessing? I mean, she's got plenty of time to deal with all this, right?
Absolutely.
Are we all set?
You're all set.
All right. Let's go, kiddo. We got to meet Mommy at the car store. Here we go. I think this is yours.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thanks. Hey.
Would anyone like to comment on that video clip?
Come on, Tony. You don't really believe that you can compare the U.S. economy with Simone's personal debt.
The analogy fits perfectly. You cannot borrow yourself out of debt. The day of reckoning will come.
In the UK we are applying austerity measures.
It is the best of two evils, but unfortunately the UK will suffer from the paradox of thrift, due to the fall in demand for goods and services.
We have got a solution for that. We are going to continue with quantitative easing to stimulate the economy.
I shall translate that. We are going to continue with the transfer of wealth to the rich banking elite at the expense of the average working person. We will continue to debase the money supply, which will result in price inflation.
Tony, you are so negative. What do you expect us to do?
Politicians should not have allowed matters to get this bad by getting into terrible debt. The truth is, we should let the banks fail. Trying to save them is only making matters worse. The banking elite still continue to have their bonuses at the expense of the taxpayer. The problem is, the taxpayer is too small to save.
The problem with your solution is that it will plunge us into a depression.
The problem is that you are a political advisor and only concerned with the short term. You wish to keep the illusion of growth going by kicking the can down the road. Therefore you will debase our currency with quantitative easing. Yes, my solution will mean that we will go into a depression, but yours will simply delay a worse one down the road.
Tony, you're a doom and gloom guy. The manufacturing data in the U.S. is picking up.
Okay, Bill, what is the U.S. debt ceiling?
It's manageable.
So $16.4 trillion is manageable. The dollar is the world's reserve currency. For now, the problem is that it is a fiat currency, in other words, backed by nothing. It is because the politicians do not wish to face reality. The value of the dollar will be inflated away through quantitative easing.
Thank you. That's all we have time for. I wish to thank you all for your time.